When we eat out, we trust that the food is fresh, the kitchen is clean, and the chain behind the counter takes safety seriously. But that's not always the case. Some of America's biggest restaurants have faced scandals, shortcuts, and hygiene issues that might make you think twice before ordering. Today, we're diving into the top 10 restaurants where you might want to think twice before placing that order, starting with number 10. Number 10. Applebee's. Applebee's has long been the go-to for cheap cocktails and casual dining, but over the years, it's built a reputation that's not so appetizing. Many former employees say the food is far from fresh. Steaks arrive frozen, microwaves are used more than the grill, and sauces come straight from bags rather than being prepared in-house. Even popular items like the spinach artichoke dip are pre-made and reheated instead of cooked fresh. On top of that, Applebee's has struggled with customer complaints about dirty dining rooms, sticky menus, and poorly cleaned utensils. Inspectors have flagged locations for improper food storage, like raw meats sitting above ready-to-eat items, creating a recipe for cross-contamination. Add to that the chain's reputation for overly greasy, calorie-packed meals, and you start to see why Applebee's has slipped in popularity. For a restaurant that advertises itself as eating good in the neighborhood, many customers walk away feeling like they overpaid for reheated bar food that's just not worth the hype. Number 9. Buffalo Wild Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings is famous for beer, sports, and of course, its wings. But what happens in the kitchen isn't always a win. Employees have admitted that many items, like burgers, chicken tenders, and even some wings, arrive frozen and are simply dropped into fryers. That signature flavor? Often just sauces poured over previously frozen chicken. And when orders stack up, shortcuts are common. Gloves get reused between raw and cooked foods, and timers are reset to make old wings look fresh. Cleanliness has been another issue. Diners have complained about sticky floors, dirty tables, and unwashed pitchers. Some locations have even been cited for improper refrigeration, with raw chicken stored at unsafe temperatures. Add in the fact that many of their sauces and sides are packed with preservatives and sodium, and you're left with a sports bar experience that might not be worth the risk. Buffalo Wild Wings markets itself as the ultimate game day hangout. But behind the screens and beer taps, you might just get a plate of shortcuts instead of quality food. Number 8. Olive Garden. Olive Garden sells the dream of endless breadsticks and hearty Italian meals. But reality often looks very different. Much of the food is frozen, microwaved, or pre-portioned in plastic bags. The pasta? Often cooked in huge batches hours before the dinner rush, then reheated in boiling water before being served. Even the soups, which many guests rave about, typically come from pre-made mixes rather than being freshly prepared. Employees have also spoken out about questionable cleanliness practices. Leftover breadsticks are sometimes brushed off and reserved, and salads have been caught being recycled when customers don't finish them. Health inspectors in multiple states have cited locations for improper food storage, pest problems, and greasy, unsanitary kitchens. The chain still markets itself as a family-friendly dining spot, but critics argue you'd get a more authentic Italian meal from the frozen food aisle at your local supermarket. Olive Garden's endless promotions might make it sound like a deal, but if freshness and quality matter to you, this chain doesn't always deliver. Number 7. Chili's. Chili's positions itself as a fun, casual place for sizzling fajitas and bold flavors. But behind the theatrics, much of the menu is built on shortcuts. Those famous ribs, often pre-cooked, frozen, and reheated before they hit your table. The sizzling skillet effect you hear isn't from fresh cooking. It's often just water or oil sprayed onto a hot pan to fake that sound. Even side dishes like mashed potatoes are commonly made from powdered flakes rather than real spuds. Food safety issues have also been reported. Health inspectors have cited locations for leaving food out at unsafe temperatures, failing to wash hands between handling raw meat and ready-to-eat items, and even cross-contamination in salad prep. Customers have taken to social media with photos of dirty soda machines, slimy lemons in drinks, and microwaved desserts, like the molten chocolate cake. Chili's markets itself as a notch above fast food, but in reality, it's often just reheated food dressed up with smoke and mirrors. For diners expecting freshness, Chili's can be more of a letdown than a treat. Number 6. Popeyes. Popeyes has earned a reputation for crispy fried chicken and Louisiana-inspired flavors, but not everything behind the counter lives up to the hype. Many customers complain about long waits, inconsistent food quality, and shockingly poor service. Former employees have admitted that some locations cut corners with cleanliness, skipping basic food safety protocols when things get busy. Gloves aren't always changed between handling raw chicken and sides, and prep stations can sit dirty for hours. There have also been repeated health inspection issues at certain franchises, including improperly stored chicken, rodent droppings, and food left at unsafe temperatures. Customers have reported receiving undercooked chicken or meals that taste like they've been sitting under heat lamps far too long. Even Popeye's famous biscuits have sparked controversy, with many joking they're so dry you need a drink just to swallow them. While the chain has passionate fans, the inconsistency between locations is a big red flag. One Popeyes might serve hot, crispy chicken, while another hands you greasy food with questionable handling. If you're rolling the dice on dinner, Popeyes may not always deliver the quality you expect. Number 5. Sonic Drive-In. Sonic is known for retro vibes, roller skating servers, and an endless menu of slushes and burgers. But scratch beneath the surface, and the experience isn't always so nostalgic. Many items, from burgers to breakfast sandwiches, are pre-cooked and reheated. The fryers and drink machines have been frequent points of complaint, with customers sharing photos of moldy ice machines and filthy soda dispensers. Employees have admitted that the kitchens can get chaotic, with little time for proper cleaning during peak hours. This has led to health violations ranging from insects in storage areas to spoiled food being served. The car hop service model also creates problems. Food often sits in the kitchen too long before being delivered, arriving lukewarm and soggy instead of hot and fresh. On top of this, Sonic's menu is loaded with sugary, calorie-dense items that prioritize novelty over quality. From greasy hot dogs to fried desserts, most meals leave diners feeling more weighed down than satisfied. While Sonic markets itself as a fun throwback, many locations fall short on the basics of cleanliness, freshness, and consistency. Number 4. Red Lobster. Red Lobster built its name on seafood feasts and endless shrimp promotions, but its reputation has taken a dive. Many of the dishes aren't as fresh from the sea as advertised. A significant portion of the seafood is frozen, farmed, or imported in bulk. That Maine lobster might not be from Maine at all, and shrimp are often thawed and reheated rather than freshly prepared. Beyond questionable sourcing, cleanliness has been a recurring issue. Health inspectors have flagged locations for cross-contamination, with raw seafood stored alongside cooked items. Customers have shared stories of dirty bathrooms, sticky tables, and even pests in dining areas. Add in the fact that seafood is highly perishable, and any slip in handling can quickly become a serious risk. Even the chain's signature Cheddar Bay biscuits beloved by many, have been criticized for being pre-mixed and baked from frozen dough. While the brand leans heavily on its reputation as America's seafood authority, many diners walk away disappointed, realizing they could have bought fresher seafood at a local market for the same price. Number 3. Jack in the Box. Jack in the Box is famous for its quirky ads and late-night menu, but the food safety history is troubling. In the 1990s, the chain faced one of the deadliest fast food outbreaks in U.S. history, when undercooked beef patties caused multiple deaths and hundreds of illnesses. While that was decades ago, the shadow still hangs over the brand, and problems haven't completely disappeared. More recently, individual locations have been cited for undercooked burgers, spoiled lettuce, and unsanitary kitchen conditions. Customers have reported receiving burgers with pink meat inside, stale buns, and tacos that look more like soggy envelopes than meals. Behind the counter, ex-employees have admitted that old food is sometimes redropped in the fryer to make it look fresh, and grills aren't always cleaned properly between shifts. While Jack in the Box tries to market itself as fun, affordable, and quirky, the lack of consistency makes it a gamble. For a chain with such a checkered food safety record, many diners simply don't think it's worth the risk. Number 2. White Castle. White Castle is often celebrated as the original fast food burger chain, famous for its tiny square sliders. But behind the nostalgia lies a long list of reasons why this chain earns a spot so high on the avoid list. For starters, the burgers themselves are mass-produced, frozen patties that are reheated and steamed over onions. The result is a mushy, greasy slider that some fans call an acquired taste, but many others find off-putting. Cleanliness is another recurring issue. Health inspectors have documented violations at multiple locations, including raw food stored at unsafe temperatures and unsanitary prep areas. Former employees have admitted that during busy rushes, hygiene sometimes takes a back seat to speed, with gloves not always being changed and utensils being reused without proper washing. The chain's menu, while iconic, isn't exactly health-friendly either. A typical combo meal can easily push past a day's worth of sodium and fat. Add in greasy fries and sugary sodas, and you're left with food that's more stomachache than satisfaction. White Castle markets itself as a piece of Americana, but in reality, the food often feels outdated, overly processed, and poorly handled. For many, it's a guilty pleasure to grab a crave case of sliders late at night. But for anyone concerned with food safety, nutrition, or consistent quality, White Castle is far from the best choice. Number 1. Chipotle. Chipotle once branded itself as the healthy, fresh alternative to traditional fast food. Food with integrity was its slogan, promising responsibly sourced ingredients and transparency. But its track record over the past decade tells a different story. Between 2015 and 2018, Chipotle suffered multiple nationwide foodborne illness outbreaks, including E. coli, salmonella, and norovirus, that sickened hundreds of people across the U.S. These incidents devastated the brand's reputation and revealed systemic flaws in its food safety practices. Even today, Chipotle struggles with consistency. Because so much food is prepared in-house, safety comes down to individual employees following procedures to the letter. When corners get cut, it can lead to undercooked meat, cross-contamination, or food left at unsafe temperatures. Customers still report raw chicken, slimy lettuce, and sour-tasting guacamole at certain locations. There's also the problem of nutrition. While marketed as a healthier alternative, many Chipotle bowls and burritos can pack over 1,000 calories and nearly a full day's worth of sodium. Factor in portion inconsistencies, where one worker piles on toppings and another skimps. And customers often feel like they're gambling on what they'll actually get. Chipotle's branding paints a picture of fresh, responsible dining. But the reality is a company with a history of dangerous outbreaks, questionable consistency, and meals that aren't nearly as healthy as advertised. For a chain that claims to rise above the competition, Chipotle lands at number 1 as the restaurant you may want to avoid most of all. All right, that's the list. But I want to hear from you. Have you had a nightmare experience at one of these spots? Or is there a restaurant you think deserves to be on this list? Drop your story in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more eye-opening food breakdowns.